Well, so it's finally time that I get around to cleaning off this John Deere rider. Overall, it's complete. It's in decent shape, but it's definitely dirty. It needs a nice thorough cleaning. And the best way to do that, at least this type of cleaning, is with a pressure washer. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this thing up, and you guys will see a little bit of that. You guys probably noticed I didn't really care too much about the decals. I'm not really too worried about them, because this one's already ripped. So I haven't decided yet if this thing even works. Of course, that's what's going to be the deciding factor, if it's worth keeping. But I might just buy a new decal kit for it. I think they still make them, but I haven't looked into it just yet. But it cleaned up pretty nicely. Definitely nice enough for me to want to work on it. Made sure to clean in here as best I could. It's not really the best area to get into, but there was a lot of just debris and leaves and all sorts of other crap in here that I wanted to get out before I started sticking my hands in there. And there probably is still a bunch of spiders hanging out in here, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. So I took the deck off. Got the tractor in here, and as you guys can see, the front wheels are straight now. But that's because I took the steering gear off. I'm trying to troubleshoot why exactly the steering column is doing what it's doing. And I've pinpointed the issue is not with this half moon right here. It's not with that, it's not with the steering arms, it's not with the wheels. It's nothing related to that. It's solely the steering box. I haven't looked yet to see if there's some sort of steering lock or other sort of safety on this thing. I'm still kind of just tearing into it, and I've been getting a lot of use out of my little vacuum here. I already vacuumed up most of the crap that's come off, but I also cleaned out in here really well. I'm going to go back over this with a pressure washer once I'm done, but I'll do that once I'm able to start moving this thing around. It still has a belt under here, and what I'm probably going to do is tip this thing on its side and clean it out that way. Just get everything I can with the pressure washer and just clean everything up, because it is filthy under there. Though I did get most of it off, there's still a bunch that's in the frame and everything else. So slowly but surely, I'm starting to fix her up. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do now is pull the steering wheel off, which shouldn't be too difficult, and probably lift this whole column off as well, because that'll get me a little bit more access to the steering column itself, and I can hopefully see what's going on. Well, so after a whole lot of fighting and cussing, I finally was able to undo this, and I kind of cheated, but I still have to get the rest of it out. And I forgot that I left that nut installed. So there you have it. The problem we had was that bearing, bushing I should say, is seized solid on this thing. What a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna have to get that bushing off. That one right there is okay. There's a total of 2 bushings. This one apparently is the one that always rusts out first, but hopefully I can knock the rest of this off with a hammer or something and go from there. But this whole thing is just gonna need to be cleaned up, and hopefully I'll be able to reuse this bushing. And I managed to get it off. Here's the offending bushing. Thing is rusted out big time. I'm gonna do my best to clean this thing up and clean the steering column up. Looks a little different now, doesn't it? A lot more freed up. I went and took a wire wheel on the end of a drill and cleaned up the whole bottom part of my shaft and my sheath here. So now she goes on perfectly. And now with the steering column back in, smooth as butter. I just lubed her up a little bit too. So I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and put the steering gear back on the bottom and cinch that all back together. Then I'm going to get it off the ramps and test out the steering and see if we fix that. And so I got the tractor back out. Look at this. Perfect. It's like butter. This one turns easier than my Craftsman does. And unfortunately, it still looks like the steering's a little tweaked. We're definitely moving out that way on that tire a little bit, so I'm going to have to kind of see if I can even do a redneck alignment on this thing. As far as I can tell, this was the tire that was giving me the most issue. It was leaking out of the valve stem. However, I did shoot a little bit of lubricant into that, put some air on it, shot some more, put some air on it, and it wasn't acting like it was going to seal at first, but the last time I put some air in this tire to, get it to stand up a little bit more, it stopped leaking out of the valve stem. So I think that definitely fixed it. Though I am going to replace that valve core at some point. I just, like I said earlier in the video, I want to get this thing going first, and I want to know it runs good before I, really start dumping money into it. And if I could kind of redneck and band-aid things just to get to that point that I can make the assessment on this thing that hopefully the tranny's still good and the motor's still good, that's when I'll start writing down a list of everything I want to change. So I've actually got to throw a battery back into it and throw the charger on it, and hopefully we can get her to start. So I just threw the battery charger on it. I'm going to go ahead and pull the filter cover and filter off. Just in case we do get it to crank a couple times, I could shoot some spray into there. See if we can get her to start. I have no idea the condition of the carburetor. I can only hope that the guy ran it out of fluid before he put this thing underneath the tree. That's a good sign. We have 582.7 hours on this thing. I don't know what these are rated at. Ooh. Battery needs a little bit more of a charge. But that's good. Our ignition switch is working. And this is a brand new key I just picked up from Lowe's for $4. Ooh. Nice. Let's go ahead and shoot some spray in her and see what happens. Oh yeah. Let's see if it'll even start again. Yeah, this battery's shot. I knew that putting that in. I just wanted to see if I could get it going. I am definitely satisfied with that, boys. Still needs a little bit of work. You know, nothing there surprises me at all. I know that tank is in fact leaking, like I said, so I'm going to have to find some way to seal that, which I found some stuff that could probably give me a good helping hand with that. But I need to seal up the tank, replace the battery, figure out if the deck is still okay, because I don't know just yet if that thing is going to need any work or not. At the very least, the blades are probably going to need to be sharpened. But I'm not really too worried about that. So, I guess for the next video, this thing will have a new battery in it. Hopefully that deck will be cleaned up and I'll have that put back on. The belt is still in decent enough shape, so I'm probably still going to take the belt off and just clean off this whole deck because it's just atrocious. But for the time being, I think we're good. I think I'm good to put some money into this thing and see what happens. You know? The transmission seems sound, the motor seems to run good, even though it hasn't been started apparently in 2 years. So I'm not really too concerned about all that. I mean, as far as that's concerned, we're good. So now I've got another project that for sure is going to have a good ending to it. So I just got to make up a list of all the parts I need now and put everything on order. And then I'll have a nicer, newer lawn tractor that does ride a hell of a lot better than that one. Now this one, on the other hand, I haven't decided just yet what I'm going to do with it. One of my coworkers did express some interest in it, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how much I'd sell it to him for, and you know, I would want, and I'm sure he would expect, to get it for a halfway decent price because I know the guy. So I haven't really decided just yet if I want to sell this thing because it's still, you know, it's still useful for out here, but I don't really need 2 lawn tractors, especially if I get this one going good. So we'll see what happens, see where that goes. But I'm just happy that this thing's going to be, so far, worth putting some money and time into. So stay tuned for more videos, boys. There's more coming.